Do you remember the first time you decided to wear socks in the shower? Because I don't. When I would pray, I would always assume that when I asked God for guidance, I'd be like, please, Lord, guide my decisions. I need to know. That meant I just always wanted to be micromanaged, basically, as well. I would ask, should I put pasta on this tomato sauce? I said that the wrong way around. Socks in the shower. But because wearing socks in the shower is a lot like trusting God. I would always ask God to guide me, and I would trust Him. But that meant I assumed I would have certainty about the situation. I assumed the water going into my socks and onto my feet wouldn't be uncomfortable and feel weird. That's what it's kind of like. It was a year ago. I was crashing out because I didn't like my job. And by crashing out, I mean I was not in an emotionally good place. I didn't like my job, wasn't picking up shifts when I should have been, and I was just wearing wet socks in the shower. Shouldn't have been doing that. But my mum's awesome, super supportive and emotionally intelligent. She's awesome like that. So she talked to me about working and things like that, and how what she would recommend I do is I pray that God would guide my decisions, right? And I don't just mean that as in, please tell me what to do. It was more of, God, I would like these things in a job. Please have your will be done in this. Of course, I was crying. I was doing all this kind of stuff because I drove down to the beach and then I treated myself to a nice meal. You should have been there. I also felt like I should ask my mum to just kind of keep an eye out for things as well. And in 2 weeks' time, which is exactly what I felt how long it would take, a job came up and I had a lot of peace come with it. And I'm still at that job now. And yeah, it's dirty, but I'm naturally a clean person and it works very well for me. It is just everything on the list. I like the idea of it and I like the reality of it. And those are two things that everybody doesn't always get. It's like when you wear socks in the shower, you think the idea of it is comfort. No, no. It's like sitting on a pencil. It's not nice. It's like, what? And the reality of it is actually better than I thought. And the reality of it is I'm in a good environment where the socks aren't uncomfortable. And I just need to separate myself from that analogy because it isn't helping a lot. I don't think. Maybe it is. Maybe you like socks or something. But God still guided me in that way. And I trusted God in that. I didn't doubt that God would provide something because I'm a Christian guy. I have been my whole life, even since I was young. But when I prayed asking God for those things, I didn't expect to have like a genie grant my wish. I trusted God that He would provide exactly what I needed, even if it's not what I wanted. And it all did come with a peace. And that doesn't usually happen if it's just some natural thing. So when it comes to trusting God, I think we should honestly take aside the fact that we aren't going to know everything. For example, when the disciples were in the garden with Jesus, they were told to stay up and pray before Jesus was taken away. Jesus went away to pray 3 times. I think it was about 3 times. And the disciples were asked to just stay awake and pray. These guys were smashed. They were tired. So they kept falling asleep. Because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And we aren't so strong in our flesh that we can force our will in life. We can do our best to make stuff happen, but we can't tell God how to act, right? We can only ask Him and trust that He knows what's best for us, right? If I was to assume that He would give me everything I wanted, I would be a stuck-up kid, honestly. Because following God isn't supposed to be some super easy thing. The Bible makes it clear in this verse right here. I'm not going to bother quoting it because I don't want to mess it up on accident. Got to keep the word of God as clear and in tune as I can. But I think a lot of people just want to put on the socks, even when they're wet, before they get into the shower, and then they get some dirty water cleaning themselves off. And what I mean by that is people will step into a circumstance where things are terrible, and they have no faith that God will take them out of it. They're just doing it because they want to be the center of drama, right? And then they'll get into the dirty water, the situations that cause a negative effect in their life because of the situation they've put themselves in, and then things just get worse. So first of all, don't put yourself in stupid situations. And second of all, stay awake when you're told to stay awake by Jesus. Now, I don't even know if I'd be able to cope with that because I don't do well without sleep. If you're ready to hear about a miracle, it's a time when I didn't trust God. So, one time I was at youth group, right? I was a young kid, and by that I mean I was like 12, 14, no idea. And I basically, at the entrance to the church, there are these two doors, right? There are ones that like opened up like that. They're like opened both ways. So I run, right? I run this way, and I like kick the doors. When like boom, and it had a doorknob. And as soon as I like kept on running through, and my face was downcast because I knew I had broken the wall. So I turned around. There was a hole in the wall, very doorknob shaped. It was not there before. I know that for a fact. It was not there before. So I was like, "Oh Lord, Lord, call me out upon the water. I'm praying you would heal this hole in my life, and that you would just deliver me from the hands of my enemies." So I went to the bathroom because I felt like I shouldn't put my hand in the hole, because I was praying that God would fix the hole in the wall, but he didn't want me to like feel the hole in the wall because that would mean I'd lose faith or something, I guess. So I went to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, because I didn't think that God would do anything. Didn't think anything would happen with that. But when I came out, the wall was fine suddenly. I don't. I was wearing wet socks the whole time, but God still decided to fix the hole. Now somebody might say, "Oh, you may have just missaw it. It may have been a shadow." There was no shadows. It was so bright in that room, it was insane. I felt like I was in the back rooms. But it was a really good time and an example where God decides to do something, even if I don't trust him. He doesn't need my trust to do something. He just wants it, right? It's like we put our faith in Jesus, and believing in Jesus is what gets us into heaven. He wants our trust. He wants us to believe in Jesus, that Jesus did die for us, and he loves us that much. But often we just want to wear wet socks and say, "I don't know, I don't know, not for me." So what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to trusting, and I'm trying to say that trusting God isn't the same as when you trust your friend to give you the $20 back that you lent him. He's not giving you that back. He spent it on the girl he likes, trying to get her a burger. He is not giving you, I mean, maybe he is if he's like swooning or, I don't know. It's a situational thing. But when it comes to giving God our trust, it starts with these things that actually changed my life, right? So there is prayer and staying in the Bible, right? Because I've found out with time that even if the situation isn't what I've prayed for and I've trusted God for, what I want matters, but God knows what I need. Wait, God knows, I'm speaking like a baby. God knows what I need, and he'll give me what I need. A father loves his kid enough to discipline it. I don't know the exact verse. I don't want to butcher it. It's just going to be on screen, so that'll be there. So here is how I've learned to trust God so much that even when things aren't in a good place and I'm not in a situation that I want to be, I always thank God. Like even yesterday, right? I was honestly feeling pretty terrible. I was feeling pretty sad because I scrolled for like an hour or two in the spirit of comparison. The thief of joy came along, and it just made me quite sad and made me want to just stop doing this because I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. But then I just like went for a run after work, even though I didn't want to go for the run. Went for a cold shower, even though I didn't want to. And the reason I'm saying that is because it made me feel way better. And feeling way better doesn't just come with wanting to feel better but doing the same stuff. If I just kept scrolling and didn't change anything, didn't do the things I know are good for me, nothing would have changed. So here's how you can apply that, right? Take off the socks before you get into the shower, right? I don't know why I'm holding up this foot. I don't know why I'm holding up my thumb. But take off your socks before you get into the shower. Stop doing the stuff that is making life hard. If you play games late into the night and you wake up feeling like a frog, stop doing the stuff that makes you feel like a frog. Revolutionary idea. I was thinking of it all night. I was practicing this in the mirror because it was such a eloquent thing for me to say. I don't know how I came up with it. But instead of just stopping the thing, right, that is making you sad or making things hard for you to grow in your relationship with God or trust God, you got to replace it with something, right? And I don't want to say it like, oh, I'm a productivity guru, I'm a self-help guy. No. I mean, maybe. I've been doing it a couple years, but doing something you know is a bit healthier helps you a lot. That's just what works psychologically. You don't have to remove the thing without replacing it. Replacing it makes it so much easier. And for me, the things that make me trust in God, despite the situation not being what I want, when I'm sad and I don't feel like keeping on going, I trust that God's way is better. For example, yesterday when I was feeling pretty down, I trusted, it's like, even though I'm feeling quite bad, towards the end of the day, I understood a little more why. And this might not even be the whole reason why, but I knew that God had reaffirmed in my mind by me understanding that again, by going through it, that I can't just be happy when I'm down. I can't just do the good stuff when I really feel like I need to just take time away. Sometimes you just gotta let God. There's a wasp trying to. Anyway, but sometimes you just gotta let God do what He needs to do for you. Because He loves you so much, He's gonna do stuff you hate in a way that helps you, right? He's gonna bring stuff into your life you don't want if it helps you. He wants what's best for you. And that's been a part of my experience. So I'm just gonna say what's. So here's exactly how I trust God in those situations, and I've now got to the point where I'm thankful even when I don't even want to be alive, honestly. Here's how I'm thankful to God even in those situations. I pray a lot. In the morning I spend a lot of time praying, like crying out to God, and I just give that time to Him in the morning and at night. I've set clear times when I spend time with God. And if I'm like 7 minutes late because I have to go brush my teeth and say goodnight to the family, that's fine. I just finish 7 minutes later, right? It doesn't have to be some perfect thing. Sometimes I go a little longer. Sometimes it's just me praying the whole time instead of me doing the Bible and a sermon and prayer. I've just allotted clear time for me to spend time with God, because if you spend time with someone, you love them a lot more and you trust their plan for your life. You trust the intention that He has for you if you actually spend time with Him, right? That's how it's been for me. The Bible probably says stuff about it. Bible verses. Bible verses. Bible verses. Yeah. I don't even know if I'll keep that in the video. I show a lot of gratitude. I thank God a lot for everything in my life. And the reason I do that is because our brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Just a friendly reminder, you can imagine whatever you want. Your brain doesn't tell the difference. So I imagine myself thanking God and smiling, treating people well, respecting people, leading people in a loving way. My brain is just going to say, that's how Daniel does it. Okay. And then I start doing things that way. You don't have to be perfect, right? And you don't have to imagine things perfectly. And if your brain begins to spiral towards all the YouTube shorts and reels and all that stuff you've been watching that day or experiences, that's okay. You can just refocus. You just go, what if I think about something over this way? What about that? That's what works for me. And then there's a third thing, understanding that we have a long life that will be over in the blink of an eye. Solomon states life as meaningless in Proverbs. But I think life is beautiful because we get to have a relationship with the person who created the ground you're standing on, who knitted your DNA together with zero issue, no diff. I think that was the right wording. But so in the very clear sense of my analogy, this is exactly what I mean. I take off my socks before I get into the shower. I take off all the negative stuff in my mind and I put on a new layer of just being healthy in prayer and understanding that God has me. God has me. And then I step into the difficult stuff, the cold shower, the place where I don't know where to go. I don't know how things will turn out. I take off the layer of me that is so judgmental of myself. And I take away as much of that as I can before I get into the shower where it's cold and nobody wants to wear socks in the shower that just make it more uncomfortable and give you like tuberculosis or some foot disease or something. So basically you just make things as easy for yourself as you can when times get hard by basically just committing yourself to God and letting Him guide you and understanding that when He guides you, you might not know what's going on, but if you pray and you trust that He has a plan, and you do your best to actually understand that you just need to move in the direction that has like a peace that comes with it, that there is a clear understanding that God is like bringing you into that the Holy Spirit is directing you in that direction, then that has been a major factor into how I live my life and the way I trust God. So the next video will be about forgiveness and understanding that we aren't that great. So, and I don't just mean what the Bible says about forgiveness, but the fact that it's so difficult for us to give up difficult stuff as well, and how I've kind of overcome that too. If you want to watch it, fine. If your little brother needs you to play chess with him, go play chess with your little brother. Like, spend time with your family. Anyway, have a good one. Bye. That's crazy. What? That is nuts. Okay. Oh my gosh. That's just dust wave out there.